How's it going, everybody? I'm going to be doing a underrated game video here today. Games I feel are underrated. Maybe I'm wrong on this. I think a few of these ones definitely are. I got 4 games here. This is something I'll probably do from time to time, looking at the collection I have and seeing, games that I feel are underrated. I don't want to say necessarily hidden gem, but I guess to an extent they are, but I feel like they're just underrated or flew under the radar. I guess it's all the same thing, right? I got a 360 game here first. Now, this one's interesting because this is the Platinum Hits version, so it did sell. But I feel like it still got overlooked, especially over time. The series in general, this is Condemned Criminal Origins for the 360. There was also a second one, Bloodshot. This is the better of the two, I feel. Bloodshot's good as well, but it leans into the kind of supernatural stuff a little more, and that might turn some people off. This one doesn't get there yet. It kind of hints at it. But this is GameStop putting a sticker on the case itself, on the artwork itself, I should say. This is a launch title for the 360, I'm pretty sure, which the 360 had a really good launch, actually. But this is a survival horror game. You're Ethan Thomas? Yes. You're Ethan Thomas, and you're a FBI agent, and you're investigating, a string of murders. I forget what they call the person in this, but the first part of the game, you're going to a crime scene. These cops are bringing you in. They're showing you the crime scene, and you're looking at it, and you scan stuff in this game. You do a little kind of actual forensic type work. It's small. They improved on this in the second one. You did more of this. You get a little scanner. You're looking for blood trails and stuff like that, and you're using scanners and stuff, trying to pick up noises, I believe. And stuff starts to go south. The killer's in there. He grabs your gun and kills one of the cops with it. So now you're accused of that. You don't have your gun anymore. And now you're running around the town trying to figure things out. You do have help from this woman who's also in the FBI. You contact her from time to time. She's helping you out. And you're doing that. And it's just overall has a very creepy atmosphere. This game is very well done in the environments and stuff. I believe you're in a school at some point. You're in a part, it's like an the first part you're in is like a kind of just abandoned type building. The end fight is in a house, just like a house. It adds a little element to creepiness to it. You're getting chased, you're running around with the guy in this 2-story house. You're in the subway at a point too as well, and you go deep. That's a little bit of a longer section. You go a little bit deeper too into the subway, and you're finding there's little collectibles to find in this game. I think they're the crows. You find these dead crows. There might be a second. I think there's another collectible. One of the cool things about this game is it says use forensic technology to analyze murder scenes. So you're picking up fingerprints and stuff on the bodies. The combat in this game is great. It's hand to hand, but you're using things in the environment: 2x4s, rebar, pipes, stuff like that. Wrenches, I think you do come across guns occasionally, but you don't come across them a lot, and the ammo is scarce. I know there's handguns. There might be a shotgun as well. I can't remember fully. I think you're in an office building too at some point. And you're fighting homeless people and kind of vagrants and stuff. And you do find it's kind of cool if they went this way because they explain it more in the second one. There's these things in the town that they send out a sound, and that's what's causing a lot of the homeless people and stuff that are out on the streets to go nuts, because it's emitting this sound and it's messing with them, and they attack you. I'm pretty sure they don't bring that up too much in this one. I know they explore it in the second one, why those things are around town. These kind of things were planted. I don't know if you actually even see them in this one, but maybe they came up with that in the second one as a reason. I don't know. I can't remember fully. I played some of this, so I guess it's been a while, but I did do a video on my other channel, so it could have been a year ago, though. It could have even been longer than that. The Bloodshot I have not played since 2009, so I want to get that one again. because it is a good game. It's just it leans a little too heavily into it's like this vocal thing similar to Skyrim. This was pre-Skyrim though. Uses this vocal thing, Ethan Thomas. But it's cool though. It's like a cool kind of murder mystery survival horror type game. The combat's fun. Like I said, you're picking stuff up even when you're punching. Like there's a good impact even still. Now, very similar to like a Chronicles of it was Riddick Escape from Butcher Bay. That was an original Xbox game, I believe, in PC, which had a really good hand-to-hand combat. I don't know if it's the same company. This is Monolith that did this, and they did the Fear games as well. And they did another game. I think it was some kind of spy game, maybe. Was that them on the PC? I can't remember what it was called. But it's just a creepy, good game. Great sound effects and stuff. Like, it's just the music. There's not a ton of music, but the music you get is decent. And it's just overall just a creepy vibe because it's not like it's very downtrodden and kind of depressing environment you're going through. It's dark. The subway is cool. There's a couple. I remember this was an oh shit moment for me. Little spoilers here if you've never played this game. But when you're in the subway area, you're about to go down the steps, like the escalator thing, and you just, the way it's set up, it's like all of a sudden it turns into a cutscene where you turn around, this guy throws you down the stairs, and I was like, whoa. And you got a lot of that in this era of games. I feel like when they really upped it, in the HD area, I don't know, for some reason, you got a lot of those kind of moments. But the AI is pretty good. The enemy AI is pretty good. They'll kind of run around. Like, they won't just stand. Like, if they feel like they're taking a little bit of beating, they'll run away, and then you'll be like, where'd they go? And they pop out from somewhere else. They'll pull stuff off the environment, too, and use it as a weapon. And you can block and stuff like that. Like I said, you do come across guns, but they're scarce, and the ammo is... You might actually come across a decent amount of guns, but there may be like 3 bullets in the thing, But it is, once you get it, you're taking guys down quickly. Graphically, it looks pretty good. It does have that like early, if you remember this from like a lot of early Xbox 360 games, they had this weird like shine to them. The characters and some of the stuff almost looked plasticky. But I think actually, the environments look good and the stuff looks good, but you have to almost get past that kind of like, it's like a weird, you'll know if you were playing games when this thing came out. The first kind of batch of 360 games, like even like cameo elements of Power and Perfect Dark Zero kind of have a little bit of it. This one has it. I was just about to say something too before I started to go back into this with this game, and I forget what it was. All the time I always do that, lose train of thought. But it's good. Like I said, the combat is cool, and there's cool stuff going on there. Was it something about the graphics? I forget. It's violent. Like it's violent. It's not trying to be. It is rated. Well, you can't see it, but it is rated 17 plus. It's just an overall really cool game. The second one is cool as well. I do like this one a little more because it's a little more grounded, and then it turns into the thing. The first like half of this. Oh, that's what I was gonna say. This is the part with the. I think this is the first one where you're in like a thing too. It's like a store, old store. It's abandoned now, and it was like an apartment store. And there's like these mannequins, and I'm pretty sure it's this game, right? And all of a sudden you move, and all of a sudden you turn around. The mannequins are all around you and stuff. They did a similar thing in the Silent Hill short message, similar to that kind of scene. But they all of a sudden they're all around you, and you kind of go into this hole. But Bloodshot has cool. I'd say Bloodshot's actually underrated as well. There's a cool part with a rabid bear in Bloodshot. It's really good, and this I think the Bloodshot's the one where like the mayor gets beheaded. Like you're still like chasing around like this paranormal stuff, but you're also chasing around like another killer and stuff. There's actually a little more going on in Bloodshot, but I just like this one better, and that one's creepy as well. But I want to say this one's the creepier one. I would check it out if you got a 360, or it's on the PC as well, so you can get it on Steam. I'm pretty sure it's all over Steam. Next two are Xbox One games, Call of Cthulhu, and they're both Cthulhu games, Cthulhu Universe games. This is a cool game. It's a first-person game. You're like a detective, I believe. Is it? Yeah, private investigator. You go to this isolated island, apparently, and then stuff starts happening, right? And you're seeing things. That's the thing with these Cthulhu games. You're going to slowly start losing your things. All of a sudden, you're seeing things quickly and stuff like that. Pretty cool story. It was a little short. I don't know if this is the one. I'm trying to think of the endings of this one, or if that was the next game. I can't remember. I want to say it was the next game that did this, that had this in it. So I'm not going to say this one. Pretty decent looking game. Who made this? Focus Home Interactive, Cyanide Studio, a couple other names on here. Those are the two in the front. What's the guy's name here? Pierce is sent. You'll suffer a razor thin line between sanity and stuff. And like I think you find like the fucking Necronomicon at one point, and if you read from it, like it will alter the ending to it as well. And I was reading from it constantly, so then you start hearing. I think this when you're hearing voices and stuff over time. Combat's pretty good. This is the one where you fight the Shambler here. That guy. That was a cool fight. You're in like a museum, and he comes through like a dimensional portal or whatever, and you have to there's knives in this thing, but you have to find the right knife to kill him with. So you try to kill him and it doesn't work, and then you're running and hiding and he's stalking you. You got to break the glass and he'll hear you. Try to get another one. That was a cool boss fight. It's definitely a solid game. Unfortunately, I don't remember a shit ton of it. And I don't even. When did I play this? Maybe like 4 years ago. And you do some investigating as well. I think you go into like I think even the other game too. You go into like different like madness mode or whatever. You're kind of detective mode, like the Arkham games, and other games that do it. And you're like following things. And is it this one? No, it's the next one. I think where you recreate scenes. But this is a good one. I'm trying to remember more of it, and I can't. I'll remember more from the next game because I played it somewhat like about a year ago. This one's cool though. This is just a first person. It's first person. You get a couple different weapons, guns, and stuff. And then I'm pretty sure it has different endings as well. It's a cool game. This has got to be pretty cheap now. I mean, this can't be more than like $10-15 used. These games are kind of like, it's nothing as it seems, and do you trust people, and you're losing it, do you trust yourself type stuff. This is a cool game. Call Cthulhu. The next one is another Cthulhu game. The Sinking City. This one actually has a map. Nice big map of Oakmont. Always nice getting a map these days. In a video game, it does have some add-on stuff that I don't think I used. Got this from Gamefly. I started playing a little bit when I first got it, and I was kind of like, it was kind of interesting, and then I just moved to something else, and then I was like looking for a game. Maybe it was 23, maybe early 24 or late 20. I don't know, but I'd have to look at my achievements and see when I was playing it the second time. But I went back to it, and I really started to enjoy. I got through a little bit of a part where it was a little confusing, and then I got used to everything, and then I started to play it. Same thing. You're going to the city of Oakmont. You're another. I think you're a private investigator again. I don't think you're the same dude, but this one's cool. It is an open city. You unlock different. I think you unlock. Do you unlock different parts, or maybe you just do missions in other parts? But it's kind of cool because the city's like partially sunk, right? And you have other people from H.P. Lovecraft's like books and stuff, like groups and families and stuff are in here more. I forget their names of the one like kind of group. I forget what they're called. But you don't have to do every quest, I'm pretty sure, but there's some side stuff in there. You're doing work for people and stuff. And then this one does have, you're piecing together crime scenes and stuff like that, and you got to figure out which order. Did this happen first? Did this happen second? Third? And you piece it together, and it gets done right. It shows you exactly how everything went down, how someone was killed and stuff. This had the investigator pack in it. That's all it was. But it's cool here. As you can see, the city's partially sunk, so there's parts where you have to hop on a boat and go and kind of find out where to go. And be like, oh, it's on this street. Oh, you got your next clue, or you got to investigate this area. And you look on the map. It's really good use of the map in the game too. You're like, okay, I got to go to this street, and then you get used to the map, and you're going the right ways. You're not really using the map as much. But like, okay, I got to turn here, and then you find the places. And sometimes, like I said, you got to get in the boat and stuff. There's different, just like Call of Cthulhu. There's different kinds of enemies that are H.P. Lovecraft inspired or just straight up actual enemies from his books and stuff. This one's the one that has different endings. I'm pretty sure I did all three because I had a save at the end, and it was just literally at the end. So I just was like, okay, I'm gonna get these other achievements. So yeah, there was 3 different endings. But it was cool. Some of the side quests were really cool. It involved other types of weird stuff and enemies you had to deal with, and you had to figure out how to kill them and stuff like that. This one's in third person. Do you craft stuff in this? I can't remember. But it's cool. The voice acting's pretty solid, and your character, like, he's another one where he's hearing stuff and he's like seeing things randomly, and you like wake up from an episode or something, and you're like, oh my god, what happened? Type thing. Does it say the guy's name here? It does not say his name. I forget what his name is. But he always has this look where he's just like strung out and he hasn't like slept. It's part of the parts that you get a lot of ammo and stuff in this game, but you'll run through them. Like sometimes you have to deal with a lot of enemies, and all of a sudden, but it's pretty good at finding. I think you can you craft? Oh, there's another cool thing in this game. I guess I jump from all over the place. You got to figure things out. Like you'll get information from someone, and they'll be like, "Oh, you gotta go to like the library. I think it's the newspaper place, and you go to the newspaper place. You got to find a certain news article for what you're having look through, and then you have to set it up properly on the things. And when you get it right, it's like, oh, he's at this address, and then you can go and find somebody about somebody's like past criminal activity and stuff like that from the precinct. And when you go to the precinct and stuff like that, and there's another. And the hospital too, I think you can find, oh, they went to the hospital, and then you got to go to the hospital and say, oh, they had this done. It's kind of cool the way you do it, and I really like that. There's some cool, like, kind of little detective work in this game. This is absolutely an underrated game. Like, the only reason I picked it up too, I think I already had Call of Cthulhu. That was actually gifted to me. And I was like, oh, this is another one. It was a GameFly. It was like $10 or $12, and it's well worth it. Like, I would pick this game up if you're into horror, if you're into the H.P. Lovecraft universe. Pick it up. Like, it's just cool. It's another dreary game as well, and kind of depressing. Graphically, it's not the best looking game. It doesn't look like complete shit, but it's not like top of the line for that generation. But it's still not. It's not like garbage looking or anything like that. But it's just fun. It's pretty decent length. Like I said, there's a decent amount of side quests. You don't have to do everything. But it's really cool. I would absolutely check this out. Sinking City. It's on the PS4 as well. Actually, it might be on the Switch too, actually, to download. I don't know if they made a cartridge copy of it. It's just downloadable on the Switch. And the last game, this might be, people might not agree with me on this one. It's a PS5 game. You would have seen it in PS5 collection vid. Ghostwire Tokyo. I feel like this game's been underrated. Like, I remember hearing about when it was coming out, because it was a timed exclusive for the PS5, and then Microsoft went and bought Bethesda, and I think it came out maybe a little, or maybe they would have had to have honored that exclusivity, because that agreement would have been made before they bought Bethesda. I remember hearing about it, and then I picked it up. It was one of the first games I got for the PS5 when I got it. It was only $20 too, which is nice. This is the deluxe edition, and it has some stuff, packs and stuff, weapons. I barely use those codes unless it's like a mission or something. But this game's awesome. I talked about it in the PS5 collection video. Like, it looks nice. It's first person. You're this, I forget the kid's name. But at the beginning of the game, all of a sudden, everybody like disappears. Like, this kind of fog appears and rain, and the parade here. They don't have it on the back. It's like the demon parade or something. Everybody disappears, but before you can disappear, this other spirit attaches itself to you, and then you're safe from just your spirit just going wherever. And you have to. He's how you fight too. I forget his name. It's like KK or something they call him. He was another group of these paranormal people, and he died. It was killed by the main bad guy, I think. And now you use you use him to fight, and you get different, it's like wind, fire, and water. There might be a fourth thing. You're doing this stuff with your hands. It's all urban, legend in Japan type enemies and stuff like that. The slit-mouthed woman and stuff like that. There's flying enemies as well. You have like the school kids and stuff here, missing heads. These people with umbrellas. There's cops. They all have a nice look. They all look nice and different. some are harder, stronger enemies than others. There's yokai in here as well. You usually chase them to try to get something from that they use to upgrade stuff. I forget what it is. And the cat yokai run the shops, and you can go find stuff for them all over the game world and bring it back to them, and they'll give you stuff, like little bonuses and stuff like that. But you're trying to figure out what happened. Boss fights are decent. These are the same people that did the 2 Evil Within games. They've since been closed by Bethesda, Tango Gameworks, which is too bad. Because Evil Within 2 I played and is awesome. This is a great game. What I played of the first Evil Within was cool too. And they did another game too, Hi-Fi Rush, I believe it's called. People really like that. I haven't played it. So that's a shame that they got closed. But you also get bow and arrow to fight with. That usually will, like, there's these trees throughout the thing that are corrupted, and you shoot that little core, and they disappear, and then you find more spirits, because you can collect spirits throughout the game. People's spirits, you bring them to this phone booth of one of the other guys in your group, and you put them in there, and you get a bunch of points and stuff. It goes up. I think you need a certain amount maybe to get to different areas. I can't remember. You don't need to get all of them, though, but I think that helps you upgrade stuff as well. And you're finding food everywhere throughout the environment and stuff like that. You can buy food at the shops. There's some side stuff in there as well. There's a cool one, I think it was a downloadable one, but it ended up in this version as well. Maybe it was just part of an update. But you're in a school. I think I mentioned this in the review. You're in this school. It's a pretty long mission, too. And you have to, you're like doing something in the body and the health class with, the stuff exposed. Like, oh, here's the heart, lungs, all that crap. All of a sudden it starts to follow you and you hear it. You'll hear like a door close, and if you turn around, it stops. And then if you keep moving, you hear it moving behind you. It's kind of cool and creepy. I remember one of the boss fights, I forget how to do. It was like some kind of, I forget, an animal type thing. I can't remember fully, but that was a pretty decent boss fight. I think you had to like get behind it and like grab something on its tail or something. I can't remember fully. But like I said, the environments were cool. I just loved going around the city in this and exploring things, and you're finding stuff in all the buildings and shit like that. I think you have a thing that scans the stuff too. You hit a button and it like tells you kind of where to go and stuff. So the side quests where you have to take pictures of things where like something happened, you find a thing of photos, something happened, you have to go to that spot and I think take another picture or do something. Like I said, you can sneak attack the enemies too and pull their kind of core or whatever it is out. And if you hit them enough times, you can string together a bunch of cores and pull them, and you're going to get more. Like you'll get some ammo for your attacks, and you'll get other stuff to help upgrade. You do get little talismans and stuff you can use as well to do things, different things. One's like a wind one, I believe. There's other ones that'll help you do different things in the game. It's just an awesome game. Like I love when I first started playing. I was like, this is cool. It has a cool look. Story was decent for what it was. You kind of see that story in the past, but it's just well done. I really like this game a lot. Looks pretty good. The gameplay to me is fun. Like some people I said they didn't like the gameplay. So the gameplay is fun. Stringing along the things, hitting a bunch of times, boom, 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 and then pulling them, getting a bunch of cores, coming up behind people and sneaking them and just taking them out immediately. There's also things you find, like they look like weird colored, like almost like a trippy color thing, like cars or vending machines, and you break them, and ammo will come from that as well. You're finding shrines throughout the game that will upgrade all of your attacks as well when you find those. It's just a really cool game. I don't know. I really like this game a lot, man. I feel like it's underrated because I don't remember a lot of people really just talking about it much after it came out. It was getting more play before it came out. I feel like so was Deathloop, because that was the other Bethesda game that was a timed exclusive for PlayStation 5. And then it was just like, okay, no one cares anymore, But I thought this game was awesome. This is my favorite game behind. It's almost like a 1A or a 1B to Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's 1A. They're just great games. This is just a fantastic game that I feel like kind of got a little overlooked. Maybe I'm wrong, though. And it's it's only 22 gigs, which is nice. This is the main bad guy, but I can't remember his name. The final fight is in I guess they have an Eiffel Tower type thing, replica in Japan. You end up on top of that thing. I think you end up in another. You do that too in a few points. You end up going to like another world type thing, and you got to deal with this stuff. A bunch of enemies, you got to deal with them, and then you go back to normal. And these things. This is actually how you unlock more stuff. Sorry, these shrine gates, or these, what are they called? It doesn't say it. But they are gates, and you gotta cleanse them. There's enemies there and stuff, and you gotta do this stuff with, like, I think you use the thumbstick to form out a symbol, and you break it, and that opens up more area that's been blocked that you can see, like, oh, this is there. It shows you where things are, where other gates are, where other things are throughout the game that you can look for. But this game's awesome, Ghostwire Tokyo. I think it's underrated. I think all these games are honestly underrated. Definitely the two Cthulhu type games absolutely are, in my opinion. And Condemned, I guess you can argue it isn't maybe same with Ghostwire Tokyo, but I just feel like they are. Even though this sold well, it's a launch title too. You got to remember, people were scooping it up because it was a launch title. But yeah, give these games a check if you've if you've never played any of them and you have the means to play them. But yeah, thanks for checking this out, and have a good day.